There's a moment right before the camera rolls when everything goes silent. Michael Keaton stands at the edge of the set. Sharp eyes, upright posture, a presence that commands respect from a generation that barely remembers his breakout role as Batman. It's easy to forget, looking at him now, that Keaton is 73 years old. He doesn't look it, he doesn't act it, and most surprising of all, he doesn't eat like it. Aging in Hollywood is rarely kind. Most actors fade or transform beyond recognition, but Michael Keaton has always been different. The wiry energy that drove Beetlejuice, the nervous intensity of his Oscar-nominated turn in Birdman, the rugged charisma in Spotlight, all of it's still there. But how? How does a man push through 7 decades and still look and move like he's ready for another take, another challenge, another comeback? His secret isn't locked away in some Beverly Hills clinic. It isn't a magic pill, a Hollywood surgery, or a high-priced chef following him around. Keaton's edge is something far simpler and far more difficult: the discipline to make the right choice every single day, especially when no one is watching, especially when it comes to what he puts on his plate. For Michael Keaton, food is never just about fuel. It's about focus, clarity, and staying ready for whatever life throws his way. While other actors hop on trendy diets or chase miracle superfoods, Keaton sticks to a philosophy that's as old school as he is: real, whole foods, eaten in moderation, at the right time, for the right reasons. Breakfast is never skipped. Some mornings, it's steel-cut oats simmered with fresh berries, a dash of cinnamon, and a sprinkle of walnuts. Other days, it's a classic omelet: cage-free eggs whipped with spinach, mushrooms, and a little sharp cheddar, all cooked in olive oil. Coffee? Absolutely. But it's black, strong, and never followed by a pastry or sugar-laden treat. He's spoken about how breakfast sets his rhythm, anchoring his energy and keeping him sharp for early calls and long shoots. If he's at home in Montana, there might be fresh fruit from a local farmer's market, or even wild-caught trout if the morning calls for something special. No sugary cereals, no processed breakfast bars, no quick fixes that leave you crashing by noon. Lunch is about balance. Keaton loves wild salmon, rich in omega-3s, grilled simply with lemon and herbs, served over a bed of arugula, cherry tomatoes, and sliced avocado. He piles on the colors: roasted beets, steamed broccoli, a handful of almonds or walnuts. His favorite grain? Quinoa, sometimes brown rice, but always whole, never instant or pre-flavored. He avoids heavy dressings, sticking to olive oil, balsamic vinegar, or a homemade vinaigrette. Dinner is the most flexible meal of the day, but the rules don't change. If he's eating out, Keaton scans the menu for simple proteins: grilled fish, roast chicken, maybe a lean cut of beef. But he avoids anything deep-fried or swimming in sauce. Sides are always vegetables, never fries. If he's home, dinner might be a big salad with grilled shrimp or a homemade minestrone soup loaded with kale, beans, tomatoes, and herbs. He enjoys good bread, but it's always whole grain and always in moderation. The thread that runs through all of it? Simplicity, freshness, food that tastes like itself. Keaton's meals are never complicated or fussy. He shops for ingredients himself, cooks often, and rarely relies on packaged or pre-made foods. He said more than once, "You don't need a nutritionist if you stick to the perimeter of the grocery store." But just as important as what Michael Keaton does eat is what he won't touch, no matter how healthy it sounds. First and foremost, processed sugars. Keaton has seen the impact sugar has on friends and colleagues: blood sugar crashes, sluggishness, the constant cycle of craving and guilt. He avoids soda, fruit juices, and even so-called healthy granola bars. Dessert is an occasional pleasure, not a nightly routine. If he does indulge, it's a piece of dark chocolate, a bowl of fresh berries, or maybe a homemade apple crisp sweetened with nothing but fruit and a sprinkle of oats. Second, fast food and fried food. No drive-thrus, no late-night burgers, no fried chicken, no French fries. Even when he's on the road, Keaton plans ahead, packing nuts, fruit, or a healthy sandwich if he has to. He refuses to let convenience dictate his choices. Red meat is something Keaton eats with caution. He's not a strict vegetarian, but he's conscious of portion size and quality. If he has steak, it's grass-fed, organic, and always paired with a double serving of vegetables. More often, he leans toward fish or plant-based proteins. Minimal alcohol. Keaton's always enjoyed a good glass of wine, but never to excess. He's seen what heavy drinking can do, not just to the body, but to the mind. At gatherings, he'll sip, not guzzle. And if he's training for a role or prepping for a big scene, he skips alcohol altogether. Artificial additives and chemicals have no place in his kitchen. Keaton checks every label: avoids anything with a long list of unpronounceable ingredients, and prefers to make things from scratch. Keaton's relationship with food is simple. If you can't picture where it came from, he doesn't want it. If it doesn't resemble something that grows, swims, or walks in nature, it's not worth his time. Of course, sharpness and energy aren't just about what's on the plate. Michael Keaton guards his sleep with the same seriousness as his career. While others brag about late nights and 5 a.m. wake-up calls, Keaton has long known that rest is the real performance enhancer. He's in bed by 10 most nights, up at dawn. The hour before sleep is sacred. No screens, no scrolling, no emails. Instead, he'll read, often fiction or biographies, or spend a few quiet minutes in meditation, breathing deeply, slowing his mind. If he wakes up in the middle of the night, he doesn't panic. He's learned over decades to listen to his body's rhythms. Sometimes he'll get up and stretch or write down whatever's on his mind. Then back to bed. No stress, no pressure. That attitude, he says, is as important as the sleep itself. Keaton's friends say he's always been up with the birds. Even on location, even with jet lag, he'll find a way to get in his 7 or 8 hours. Sleep isn't an afterthought. It's the foundation of his sharpness, his humor, and his focus. Then there's movement. Michael Keaton is never still for long. He's not a gym rat, not obsessed with lifting the heaviest weights. Instead, he chooses activities that fit his lifestyle, his interests, and his age. In Montana, you'll find him hiking trails, sometimes for hours, breathing mountain air, letting the world fade away behind him. He bikes, sometimes long and fast, sometimes slow and meandering. When he's home in Los Angeles or New York, it's long walks through the city, always brisk, always purposeful. He stretches daily, simple routines, nothing fancy. A series of mobility exercises, maybe a bit of yoga, sometimes a few push-ups or sit-ups to stay limber. As he's aged, he's shifted away from punishing workouts to routines that prioritize longevity, balance, and joint health. Every so often, he'll train for a role, more intense cardio, a little weight training, learning choreography. But his favorite kind of fitness? Anything outdoors, anything that connects him to the world beyond the script. Keaton has said, if you stop moving, you start dying. It's a mantra that guides his days, always moving, always seeking new places, new trails, new challenges. But is this something anyone can do? Keaton would tell you, absolutely. You don't need a Hollywood budget or personal chef. You need intention. You need honesty about what works for you. For Keaton, it's about building habits, not chasing trends. Real food, real rest, real movement. He admits he's not perfect. There are days when schedules get crazy, when temptation strikes, when sleep is hard to come by. But the trick, he says, is consistency. Over time, the small choices add up. They shape who you become, inside and out. What really sets Michael Keaton apart isn't luck. It's discipline. The refusal to accept decline as inevitable. The willingness to learn, to adapt, to invest in himself every single day. And it's not just for the cameras. Friends and family say the man you see on screen is the same man you meet in real life. Curious, energetic, quick to laugh, always ready to listen. There's a lesser-known side to Keaton, a daily habit that might surprise even his biggest fans. Each morning, before the world wakes up, he spends a few minutes alone. Sometimes he journals, jotting down dreams or ideas for scripts. Sometimes he sits quietly, listening to birds, sipping his first cup of coffee, and letting gratitude wash over him. This, he says, is what keeps him centered, focused, and able to handle whatever the day throws his way. It's this attitude, the mix of humility, curiosity, and discipline, that's allowed Michael Keaton not just to survive in Hollywood, but to thrive. At 73, he's more in demand than ever. He takes on new roles, learns new skills, pushes himself in new directions, and through it all, he holds to the habits that have served him for decades. Eat real food, sleep like it matters, move every day, stay curious, never accept that your best years are behind you. If Michael Keaton can do it, what's stopping the rest of us? What's the one habit you could start tomorrow? A better breakfast, an earlier bedtime, a 10-minute walk after dinner. Aging is not the enemy, neglect is. That's Keaton's real legacy, and it's a script worth following, scene after scene. And as promised, here's the truth about Michael Keaton that even his most loyal fans might not know. Every Sunday, no matter where he is, he makes a point of calling an old friend or family member, just to talk, to laugh, to connect. Because for Keaton, being sharp and fit isn't just about body or mind, it's about heart. Will you give it a try? Your next act could be your best. Just ask Michael Keaton.